morning, ladies and gentlemen of the USA. My name is Tyler Storm, and I would like to welcome you to the 7th episode of StormWatch. Love is in the air. Epstein is in the air. Just the passions and throes of the world at your fingertips are in the air. I can't even begin to express the happiness I've been feeling lately, and I think that's really what we've all been feeling, is just happiness. Happiness with our loved ones, our partners, happiness with our children, happiness with our parents, happiness with our government, happiness within ourselves. And I think that's part of Valentine's Day, is just love for everything and all. All of the things that you think that don't matter in your life and do matter in your life, just taking a moment to appreciate it and love it. Like, I don't know. It's just, I got this coffee earlier at the gas station, and it tastes like shit. But I love coffee. And so, God damn it, I'm going to enjoy every fucking sip that I have of this coffee because I just love it. And you should appreciate the things you love even when they taste bad. And you should appreciate the things that you love even when they smell bad. And you should appreciate the things that you love even if they don't call you back. And you have to spam them every so often. And, you know, just whatever. Things happen. But you still love your coffee. You know what I mean? I love you, coffee. Please call me back. Ugh. Oh, I don't want that coffee to call me back. That's bitter. That's like hooker pussy. That is bitter. That is wow. Speaking of things that I love, though, outside of this brutal coffee, last year, we're going to start with Watch of the Week, and last year, my girlfriend got me this CasaEpstein 5611 Breast Cancer Awareness Edition watch. It is fucking awesome. It is all black with pink hour markers and pink markers for days of the week and stuff like that. And so it's digital analog, so it does both. It gives you the little fucking hands that move around your dial, and it gives you the digital in the corner with day, date, all of that stuff. It's traditional fucking Casio. It's a G-Shock. What do you want them? What do you want from them? Other than perfection. Fucking God tier. What do you mean? This was a great gift, and I thought in honor of Valentine's Day, it would be a perfect measure. You know, it's even rocked my pink beadwork, Valentine's Day. Things you love, right? I can't even remember who the fuck I got this from. This may have been Bobby. This may have been Killer Beads. I don't know. It's really just about the things you love, you know what I mean? You gotta really show them off when you can. This watch, by the way, phenomenal. Anyone, if you can ever get your hands on it, definitely get it. Any of the Casio collections, the 5611s, they're all great. I mean, they have that kind of AP Royal Oakish shape. I mean, that's why it's Cassie Oak. But, so it's great for dressing up, dressing down. They have metal editions, rubber editions. This was like $100, I think. Most of them are about $100 to $130, given the type and what you get. But phenomenal watch. Definitely recommend every day of the year. I mean, y'all see me rocking it. Fucking sexy, right? Goddamn right. Because my bitch got good taste. Why you think she got me? But you know, it's not just about loving your coffee and loving your watches. It's about loving everyone around you. You know what I mean? That's why I also got these little decorations to show you guys what love really is. I mean, over here in the corner, we have the little heart cherries to show you that I have not just love for myself, but love for you as well. I got two hearts, one love for everybody, really. And right here, I got the little crayon family because I want to show you guys that I love you all no matter what color you are. I don't care if you're red, you're black, you're blue, you're purple, you're brown, you're Jewish. I don't really care what color you are. Even if you're purple, I love you no matter what color you are. And over here, we have one of my favorite thruples. It is Mrs. Bird, Mr. Coffee, and Mrs. Donut. They have quite a thing going on, you know what I mean? Of course, Mrs. Bird is kind of a really the gobble whore. She likes to go down on everybody and eat them out of house and home. But love your coffee, slurp it up while you can, eat your donuts while you can, start with the hole in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Valentine's Day, baby. You gotta show love in all forms. Love for you and me. Love for the coloreds. Love for the people of different colors. Love for the thruples and the polyamoranius. And then over here, we have the cut ghost. His name is Charles. Charles the cut ghost. He likes to go by Chucky the Cucky sometimes. But he's a good guy. He mostly likes to sit and watch the bird donut coffee throuple, but sometimes he'll walk in on Mr. and Mrs. Crayon going at it, and over in the corner he sees that the hearts are jerking each other off. It's a very interesting thing that we have going on over here. It's just, I think it's beautiful what love is and what love truly can mean, not just for me, but for you, for all people. You get it? What is love for you? I think love for some people is posting them on the internet after going a few miles over the speed limit so that way everyone can make fun of them. Like our sheriff. Brevard County Sheriff's Office arrests suspect for violating Florida's super speeder law, clocked going 126 miles per hour on I-95. That's a few miles over the speed limit. The speed limit's what, 70? 127. Okay, if any of you have ever been to Florida, have driven in Florida, you know native Floridians like to drive a minimum of 85 on the highway. Our sheriffs, even when they're off duty, are driving 85 on the highway, on the turnpike in Orlando, down in Miami, fucking up here, even in Brevard, off of 95. These fuckers, when they're getting off, are driving 85 sometimes, heading back to Orlando and shit. This poor man got clocked going 126 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. What if we raise the speed limit to 85? That's what I say. That's what I think, that we should raise the speed limit to 85, and we should tell anyone who doesn't want to go that fast or anywhere near it to get the fuck out of the left lane. Why are semis always in the left lane? If you're ever any of you who are watching, if you're if you're a truck driver or anything like that, just know I respect you and what you do. I hate the way you drive sometimes. It's not saying that we're more considerate than you are. It's just you cause so much more traffic. Just like our sheriffs pulling over this poor man going only a mere couple miles over the speed limit. Brevard County, Florida, people seem to be somewhat confused by the super speeder law, as it's not a competition, and even if it was, the prize is the same for all competitors. Jail. Straight to jail. Believe it or not, straight to jail. One of the funniest things about this county, and I mean this, is we've had an 11-year-old shot, and nobody knows who the shooter was. We have had drugs trafficked here by the pound. Meth, fentanyl, whatever you want, we have it apparently here in Brevard. But speeding is the thing he goes after. We have child traffickers here in Brevard County, and he's worried about speeders and writing articles about speeders. This is like the second or third one that I've seen in just the last week and a half. He got some dude going 108 on 95, and they wound up doing the same damn thing. They propped them up in front of the back of the police car in this lot. Okay, so the police building, for any of you who've been arrested here or haven't been arrested here, you can confirm this or deny this. When they take you to the station, they pull you around off of the back road and they pull into the lot, and there's just these fucking high-rise fences all around you. And they park their car there before they go in, and they do their fucking paperwork and all that shit to verify. But I've never been in this particular situation. But in this, they prop you up outside the back of the police cruiser, like sitting on it with your hands cuffed together right in front of you. And they take a fucking photo of you like you're Like, this is supposed to be your mugshot, but it's just so they can make like a fucking, what feels like an Instagram post to make fun of you. They do have an Instagram, by the way. Brevard County Sheriff's Department does have an Instagram, and they do make fun of their citizens on a regular basis. And they do regularly attack just their people that they're arresting. It's not, like, this is a regular occurrence, by the way. This was the whole point of why I started with this, is because these fucking psychopaths are cunt holes to the community. What a fucking twat. You know what? I say this man walks, and that bitch that was jerking off the people in the jail cell takes his place. Once again, Deputy McLaughlin was out conducting traffic enforcement on I-95 when he observed one of the top contenders for Super Speeder of the Year coming down the interstate. They even give titles out now. If I'm going to jail and arrested for this, can I at least get an award? Can I get something? I would love a star, just like a sheriff's star on a placard. You know, okay, they call him Big Star. So what I want is they literally call Sheriff Wayne Ivey Big Star here. There's other sheriffs, all the other people, they call him Big Star. And what I want is a placard with a big star on it with his face in the middle that says, "You did good, kid. Because you made it through the program, you made it out of jail." You get the placard afterwards. You don't get the placard when you go into jail, but you did win an award for Super Speeder of the Year. That is something to be noted. The radar went off at 126 miles per hour when the driver, Joshua Carrion, saw Deputy McLaughlin's patrol car. He tried to hit the brakes, but not that it would make much of a difference as he passed him at 118 miles per hour, but at least he gave it a shot. You know what? Dropping 8 miles per hour ain't too shabby on a quick notice. Well, as you might imagine, Deputy McLaughlin hit the lights and sirens, pulling the vehicle over as he was attempting to exit the interstate. When he asked Carrion why he was going so fast, he said he needed to use the bathroom. Sometimes you gotta go. You know, have you ever had to pull over and take a piss on the side of the road? Come on now. It's either that where you get an indecent exposure charge because you decided to go publicly, or you speed back, or you shit yourself. What are your options here? You get diaper rash for a week. You become a pedophile because of indecent exposure charges, apparently. Or what are they even giving you? I know they're arresting you, but what are the charges they're giving you fully for this? Like, what are you going to end up serving? Whatever. Motherfucker. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that excuse, much like your pants, won't hold water, as you don't get to drive like a maniac and put others' lives in danger just because you are allegedly going to poop your pants. I think he should have shat himself when he was being arrested just to prove the point. I think that truly he should have just, like, not even dropped his drawers. I think he should have fucking got in the back of the police cruiser and ripped his ass so vigorously and violently that the cop had to pull over just to clean out the car. And I think what he should have done is pull his pants down when it happened so that way it got everywhere. And when they ask him, "Why did you do that? Why did you put your pants down the back of my car?" He can go, "I didn't want to get shit in my pants." You've seen the back of police cruisers. They're fucking nothing but hard plastic. You can spray that shit down with bleach and fentanyl any day and clear it out. Jesus Christ, man. Give the man a break. A bathroom break. Carrion was charged with driving in excess of the speed limit, 100 miles per hour or more, and given an exclusive right at Ivy's Iron Bar Lodge with a very nice toilet bowl just in case he still has to go. You are the sheriff, motherfucker. Why are you just... This is not like some fun podcast where you get to just make fun of people and stuff like that. This is not like... You actually affect people's lives. This man is going to be out at some point, and he, just like many other people in our community, are going to hate you further. You may not care about your life or others, but we do, and that's why we will continue to be out here enforcing the law each day, every day on I-95 to make sure Brevard County is one of the safest places to call home. One of the safest places to call home? I'm not even going to give you like a fucking moment to translate. One of the safest places to call home? Cocoa police detectives investigating death of 3-month-old in home at Pineda Causeway and Duke Way. One of the safest places to call home because you got speeders off the highway. You got two speeders off the highway in the last week, and you don't know who killed a 3-month-old. And you know what? Before I get too far into my tirade, Coco family's 3-month-old infant dies. Cause of death pending autopsy. How in the mother actual fuck are you gonna say that this community is getting safer because of the actions you're performing just because you're pulling over speeders, but you can't figure out who shot an 11-year-old? You didn't figure out who shot that woman off of Singleton. You haven't figured out who killed this 3-month-old. You have officers who are going out of their way to jerk off inmates and smuggle them in drugs. You have ex-employees of the fucking Brevard government who are trafficking drugs and smuggling butt into what is... I'm going to go back and just read that final statement one more time because that's going to be the thing that we're going to make the highlight of today, at least for what we have going on here at home. It's, what does he say? You may not care about your life or others, but we do. We do. And that's why we will continue to be out here enforcing the laws each and every day on I-95 to make sure Brevard County is one of the safest places to call home. To make sure Brevard County is one of the safest places to call home. To make sure Brevard County is one of the safest places to call home. They can't identify the shooter of an 11-year-old. To make Brevard one of the safest places to call home, they still don't know why a 3-month-old is dead. Brevard County, Cocoa, Florida. Cocoa police detectives are investigating the death of a 3-month-old infant who was found unresponsive Tuesday at a home near the intersection of Pineda Street and Duke Way. Sometimes you love your child so much you don't want to let them live in this world. You know what I mean? I've heard so many people hit me with that stupid shit of, why would you want to raise a child in such an awful world? Wasn't it like 600 years ago, 800 years ago, whatever, the odd years ago? I don't know fucking history that well, except some of history. But like that we just had like a plague that wiped out a third of the fucking population of a continent, maybe more. And they still had kids. You know why we're here? 'Cause they had kids. You know why we're here? 'Cause those people had kids through the hard times. You fucking retards. Sometimes you love your kids so much, though, you want to take them out of this world. And rather than selling them to Epstein or any of these other people here in Florida or taking them to Disney and sacrificing them in the castle, you just let them die. And then you rule it out as natural causes. According to the Cocoa Police Department, officers were called to the residence on Tuesday where they discovered the baby deceased. Few details about the circumstances surrounding the child's death have been released as the investigation remains in its early stages. What? Who are the parents? Where was this at? Other than just Cocoa, is there a specific location? Is there a neighborhood people should be worried about? Is this something that is like, how was the household? Whatever. What do I care? I'm not a police officer. I'm a podcaster. I feel like every time I say something like that, I feel like Garrison in South Park after he transitioned to become a woman. He's like, I'm not a monkey. I'm a woman. I'm not a police officer. I'm a podcaster. Like it has reverence, you know what I mean? Authorities confirmed that an autopsy will be conducted in the coming days to determine the cause and manner of death. Police have not said whether foul play is suspected and no arrest or charges have been announced. You didn't arrest the parents or anyone in the household after you found a 3-month-old dead in the household. There's no suspicious activity. There's no foul play. There's no arrest being made. You know what? I like these police style. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Or what is it? What did my grandmother always say? Not my monkeys, not my circus. They wash their hands of this weirdness. It's simple as that. Do you have any clue how strong and awesome of a person you have to be to find a 3-month-old dead and not feel any conviction to arrest anybody? I respect these cops for not arresting the parents and for not going out of their way to make a big deal out of this. Because truly, what is this if not just another day here in Florida, if not another day here in Brevard? Do you know what I mean? Another day in Cocoa, at least. Especially here in Cocoa. I've got something here in Cocoa that'll rock y'all's fucking socks off later. Fucking, y'all motherfuckers ain't ready for this shit. Especially y'all here in Brevard. Any of you who frequent bars and strip clubs and stuff like that, boy howdy, do I have some news for you. We'll get to that later. Reporters at the scene on Tuesday evening observed the property surrounded by crime. Holy fuck, I got ahead of myself. Reporters at the scene on Tuesday evening observed the property surrounded by crime scene tape as investigators processed the area. Police said a couple had moved into the residence only days before the incident and that the infant whose death is under investigation was their child, and they're not under arrest. You know what? Valentine's Day. Couples things. They didn't want to ruin this couple's Valentine's Day. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you find a nice couple, a lovely couple, a beautiful couple, a lovely, young, beautiful couple that you just want to leave alone. Because, you know what? It's just a 3-month-old. What do they even care? You know what's the funniest part? There's no statements from them that I'm seeing. Nothing. It's just, oh no, baby died. Oh, what you gonna? What does Epstein say? Whoops. Whoops. I like that one. That's another thing we're gonna say. Whoops. They don't know where the baby is, and this is being made a safer place for the residents of Brevard. They know where the baby is. They don't know who killed the baby. That's beautiful. I love this county and how safe it makes me feel. You know what I mean? They got speeders off the highway, and they're letting this lovely young couple who may have allegedly murdered their infant, they're letting them have a Valentine's Day. Do you know how fucking nice you gotta be to let that shit happen? You know how good of a sheriff you gotta be to let murderers of a baby walk but arrest speeders? That's some good shit right there. That is some class act sheriffing right there. I mean, Florida sheriffs, we've got fucking class acts all around. And we've got another story about one I'll tell you about here shortly. Well, however shortly is. Several neighbors told authorities they were surprised to learn someone had recently moved into the home, noting that they were unfamiliar with the occupants and had little interaction with them. Cocoa police said detectives are continuing to gather information, interview witnesses, and review any evidence that may help explain what happened. I allege that these parents killed their child. All I gotta say, that's maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I read last week about people who were trafficking their children and other people's children. What do I know? Maybe this was like, maybe the 3-month-old said no. It didn't want to be trafficked. And so the parents were like, well, no, this is just too much work. The child is already argumentative. They're already going to be saying no to these people when we give them the child. I don't think that's I don't think it's a good sale. I don't think it's a good sale to offer up a child that's argumentative. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a child trafficker, would you want a child that says no? Would you? Or if you got maybe some would, because they like whooping the children into shape and torturing them and stuff like that. But really, why would you want one that says no? Maybe these parents save this child because what is it you hear some of these young people say? I just don't want to bring my child up during these awful things. Maybe they were saving their child from these awful things. Maybe these parents were saving their child from the molesters. Maybe these parents were saving their child from the molesters. In order to save your child, sometimes you have to murder your child. You know what I mean? Mother knows best. And what other way is best than to strangle your child to deaths? Officials are urging anyone with information related to the case to contact the couple believes that the story is developing. Blah, 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 blah. All I'm saying is they're trying to make the county safer by catching speeders, but they can't find the murderer of a 3-month-old. But they are letting this lovely young couple have a Valentine's Day. And that is what Valentine's Day is about. It is love. 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 Love like for coffee. Call me back coffee, please. I sent 3 texts, 6 voicemails. Please, coffee. Love. Love. It comes in all shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? And it comes in all forms. Sometimes love comes in the form of murdering your child. Sometimes love comes in the form of murdering your child. Sometimes love comes in the form of thruples. You know what I mean? Just like our little bird and our coffee and donut. Beautiful thruples. I love all forms of love. It makes me feel better. 3 people arrested for child abuse at Gingerbread Manor Child Care Facility in Rockledge. Aw, man, you know, I was trying to get away from the child abuse and child neglect stuff, but... well, what are you gonna do? Parents love their kids so... oh, wait. Gingerbread Manor Child Care Facility. They must have really cared about these children enough to abuse them. And you know what? My favorite part about this is it's 3 people. You know what that means? You know what that actually means? 3 incomes are better than 1. There are some benefits to thruples. You have 3 incomes. You have 2 people who can help you if you have a child. You have 2 people that can help around the house. So, I mean, you have 3 people who can do chores. You have extra cooking, cleaning hands. You have extra warmth in the bed at night. You know, extra fun, dirty things. I'm not going to tell you about it. Go fill in your information on XTube and YouPorn and Brazzers and Xvideos and all of those things. You can know what I'm talking about. Thruple love, baby. Thruple love. Investigation conducted in partnership with Florida DCF. Making Brevard County safer. Brevard County, Rockledge, Florida. 3 employees of the Gingerbread Manor Child Care Facility were arrested on February 6, 2026, following an initial investigation conducted in partnership with the Florida Department of Child and Families. Authorities say the investigation remains open and active as they continue to examine allegations involving the care and treatment of children at the facility. According to the investigators, Stacy Elaine Hamilton Jackson and Nativia Latrice King were each charged with 3 counts of aggravated child abuse and 1 count of tampering with a witness. Hell yeah. You know what? Women at work. It makes me so happy to see 2 of the women out of the throuple are putting in so much effort. They're caring for the kids. They're blackmailing witnesses and bribing people. That's love. That is love. Love is child abuse, child neglect, and blackmailing people. Look at the Clintons. Their entire relationship is nothing but blackmailing and assassinating people. What? That's love. That is love. Look at Trump and Melania right now. That's love. These 2 they probably have so much dirt on just as much dirt on everybody else as they have on them. They just haven't made it public or anything like that. They just keep saying, everybody's a wonderful person. Love. All shapes and forms. Love sometimes comes in blackmail. You guilt your woman into sex. You guilt your man into buying you something. Guilt is a form of blackmail, baby. Come on now. Guilt is a necessary part of all relationships, and so is blackmail. Blackmail is as necessary to relationships as blood is to a human body. Blackmail is as necessary to relationships as air is to lungs. Blackmail is as necessary to relationships as flesh is to sex. You know what I mean? Blackmail. It's a beautiful thing. Blackmail beauty. BBW. Hold on, BBWW. Blackmail Beauty Worldwide. That sounds like a porn site that the CIA would make. And everyone would buy and watch into that. I know for a fact at least 5 people I know would pay to watch something like that. Authorities say the investigation... Oh, yeah, I already read all that. A third employee, Kia Kirsten Walker. Oh, it's a lesbian throuple. I love lesbian thruples. They're so much happier than like lesbian couples. Lesbian couples are always angsty and angry and wanting to pick fights, and they don't like straight guys, and they don't like other thruples that aren't lesbians. They don't like nothing. Lesbians are angry people. I'm not the only one who thinks this. Go ask your average lesbian what she thinks about anything. Ice cream. Ask her what she thinks about ice cream. Promise you're going to find a hateful lesbian. But a lesbian in a throuple. She has her money needs met. Her monetary needs are met. She has her sexual needs met. And she has her child abuse needs met. What more could you ask for in a throuple? Come on, baby. Come on. Details surrounding the alleged incidents have not yet been released due to the ongoing nature of the investigation. Why are all of these just pending investigation? Why am I getting nothing out of you people? So Brevard County Sheriff is covering up their sheriffs. They're allowing people to murder their children. But hey, they're arresting speeders, making Brevard County safer. You know what? Let the couples and thruples live. You know what I mean? Let these women go. I love lesbian thruples. It's actually one of my favorite things to look up online. Not for any like disgusting reasons or pervy reasons, but because I feel reaffirmed as a human every time I look at it. It reminds me of equality, it reminds me of truth, and it reminds me of what it means to be a human. You know what I mean? Every time I look at a lesbian throuple, I feel this warm, throbbing, pounding sensation in my body. And I just don't know how to describe it. Sometimes it just explodes from me if I watch too much of the lesbian throuple stuff. It comes out and loads, and sometimes my girlfriend walks in on me and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, I feel empowered by the spirit of lesbian thruppleanism. Every time she walks in on me and the spirit of lesbian thruppleanism has left my body, I hug her and I kiss her and I say, I thank you every day for you being you and the beautiful embrace of your womanliness. And then I clean up my love and hot passion. I clean up the passion. The passion of the Ty. The passion of the Tyler. Passion of the Christ. The passion of the Teist. I like that. The passion of the Teist. That's what explodes from me every time I think about lesbian thruples. And honestly, you know what? They work better together. I've never met a lesbian couple that's willing to work together. I have now read about a lesbian throuple that was abusing children just so that way they could help each other in their relationship. Maybe it's not about really the divorce rate being so high and about how men are awful or how women are awful. Maybe the idea is you should just be in a throuple. Seems to alleviate some stress, at least at some level. At least for the child abuse level, because now it's shared measures. Law enforcement officials are urging any families who believe their children may have been victims of crime while attending Gingerbread Manor childcare to come forward. Gingerbread Manor childcare sounds like something you traffic children out of the back of. I'm not even going to lie. That sounds like something that like at least 8 children have gone missing out of at some point. They're already abusing them. This throuple is abusing these children. Why would they not sell them? Those with information come forward, presumed innocent. All individuals arrested in connection with the investigation are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I like that. I like that. They haven't made any arrests. They haven't made any 100% claims. There's nothing 100% set in stone. I think what they're trying to do is take down this beautiful lesbian throuple. I think what they're trying to do is besmirch a beautiful relationship and destroy the integrity and foundation of what we know thruplinism to be. You know what I mean? It's 3 pillars are stronger than 2 when you're making a building. Come on now. You make to make a triangle, 3 sides, right? You get what I mean? To make 699 or to make 669, you got to have 2 6s or you got to have 2 9s. You feel me? In order to have, I'm not even going to keep going because I know where I'm going with this, but it's just, it really is a shame to me that we keep attacking these beautiful relationships, this beautiful couple who just, they saved their kid from child traffickers. I think truly they should be able to be let free. And this throuple, this lesbian throuple, who may have, you know what? I think the parents are making it up. I think the parents are beating their children and trying to blame the lesbian throuple so that way they are going to jail because they are against it. Red state. Red state against love. I think it's disgusting. And it's just, I don't know. How could we be a state against love? Love comes in all forms and passions. Like, I don't know. Like I said, sometimes love comes shooting out of me whenever I watch videos and speeches about lesbian thruples. Sometimes it just comes shooting out. Florida man suspected of killing 6 in shooting spree at 2 residents identified. You know what? Some people have love that shoots out of them in different ways. Some people have love that shoots out of them and kills people. I'm not necessarily okay with that kind of love. But sometimes love comes out in the form of, I just gotta murder a few people. Like that couple who killed their baby, or like this throuple who allegedly was abusing children. You have to start considering what love means to you on all levels. And who you're willing to consider deserves love, and how you're willing to consider they deserve to be loved. Suspect in pair of shootings in Sarasota, Fort Lauderdale identified as Russell Cott, 51. Pair of shootings, Valentine's Day. Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. And Fort Lauderdale, too, nonetheless. What a beautiful place to go to. A man in Florida who allegedly gunned down 6 people in a shooting spree at 2 properties in Sarasota and Fort Lauderdale before killing himself has been identified, authorities said. Aw, he killed himself. He probably felt lonely. 6 people. This poor man. I think that he was jealous and he saw that these couples were going out and he just wanted to stop them in their tracks because he didn't feel loved himself. As a middle-aged man just going and murdering people in Sarasota and Fort Lauderdale? He's got too much time on his hands. Where's his woman? Where's his children? Where is his life? I feel just so sad for him. This poor single man. Like, yeah, these other people were killed, but he killed himself. We're against suicide here at StormWatch. Unless you really, really need to. We're against it unless you really need to. Sometimes you need to. It's just, do you love yourself enough to not let yourself suffer in a world where you are going to be single? It's like that couple with the child. Do you love yourself so much you would not let yourself suffer? It's not, do you hate the world? It's, do you love yourself enough to not suffer anymore? That should be your thought if you're considering suicide. The Sarasota Sheriff's Office said the suspect, Russell Cott, 51, had been in a previous romantic relationship with one of the victims in Fort Lauderdale. Aww. And the victim was linked to the victims in Sarasota. Aww. This was a crime of passion. This is a beautiful Valentine's Day crime. I'm going to reread this again to you for all you people at home. And I know I'm rereading a lot today, and it's because I'm slow and retarded, and sometimes I just got to reread things. And also it's because of the fact that I want to impart to you the passions by which I feel so strongly about these things. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office said suspect Russell Cott, 51, had been in a previous romantic relationship with one of the victims in Fort Lauderdale, and that the victim was linked to the victims in Sarasota. A crime of passion. A crime of passion. I think this is a beautiful love story. This is actually probably going to be an A24 film in the next 5 years. I would bet money that this is going to be an A24 film in the next 5 years. Deputies said they first responded to a 911. What? Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened to me there? Deputies said they first responded to a 911 call advising that an adult male had been shot early Tuesday afternoon at a home in Amber Lane neighborhood in Sarasota. Neighbors were actively performing CPR on that victim in the front yard when deputies arrived. When he was transported to the Sarasota County Fire Department, that male was later pronounced dead, according to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office. Fearing for the safety of the victim's wife, deputies entered the residence where they located 4 additional deceased adult victims, 2 females and 2 males, it added. Were they having an orgy? I count 3 men, 2 women. This sounds like an orgy. Maybe he wasn't invited to the orgy. You know, have you ever not been invited to an orgy? Do you know what that does to your brain? Especially if you walk in and you see ugly people. Like, if you manage to get invited just because, by happenstance, or you, like, party crash, whatever the hell it is. Do you not feel slightly offended that you weren't invited to the orgy? Like, just that you weren't good enough to be... Why was I not good enough to be molested? Why was I not good enough to be invited to the orgy? Why was I not good enough for my wife to not cheat on me with her coworker? Why was I not good enough for my wife to at least not let me watch? Why was I not good enough for my wife to, not participate in orgies without me? What? I forgot where I was going with this. I'm going to be 100% honest. But my point is... It's just sad to see that this poor man, felt that he needed to stop this orgy, to murder these people in the throes of passion and love, all because he felt so lonely. He is so lonely. He has nobody for his own, and he's so lonely. Suspect in Florida gated community mass shooting likely linked to earlier cross-state double homicide. Sheriff. While attempting to identify the victims and potential suspect, detectives received information from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department advising they were working with a double homicide and believed the Sarasota shooting to be related to the investigation they're working. The sheriff's office said... Oh, that's it. FLPD provided suspect vehicle information and advised that following their homicide, the vehicle was captured on camera traveling northbound through Punta Gorda prior to the Sarasota homicide. This man had he had murder on his mind. Whoa, he had murder on his mind. That's Melly for none of you who don't know that shit. Free my nigga Melly. Free Melly. He ain't do shit. Free Melly. Sarasota homicide. And you know what? If this man wasn't dead after his suicide, I'd say free him too. Detectives worked with the Amberley HOA representatives and neighbors and were able to recover video of the suspect's vehicle entering the neighborhood at 11:01 a.m. The sound of gunfire was captured shortly on a neighbor's Ring camera. Approximately 37 minutes later, the male victim, who was found in the front lawn, was captured entering the neighborhood and was captured entering the neighbor in his vehicle. The victim approached the front door where he was shot, deputies also said. Cott was found dead inside the Sarasota home, according to the sheriff's office. It identified other victims as Olga Greenert, 49, Florita, Florita, Florita Stolyar, 66, and Anatoly Lofe, 61, and Yaroslav Bliudoy, 39. This is an odd orgy. This is a strange orgy to walk in on. The age difference alone is a little bit alarming, but if you've ever been to a bar in Florida, you've seen a swingers couple. And sometimes they're really old, sometimes they're really young, sometimes they're like really young and really old. I would say one is weirder than the other, but I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It all depends on who you get in front of you as who's weirder at the moment, because they're all strange. They're all strange. Florida man allegedly points gun at multiple drivers during road trip, and whatever. That's a different story. Based on our preliminary investigations, it appears that the suspect died of self-inflicted wounds, and there are no known documented mental health crisis nor history of violence associated with him. No, because his wife was probably cheating on him with one of these fuckers, and he decided to take him out all at once. Are you kidding me? What other logical option do you have for this? Excuse the fuck out of me. Still burping up grape soda from last week. I think this is a beautiful story for Valentine's Day because this man felt so strongly and so lovingly and with so much fervor and in parts of him about I'm going to assume his wife cheating on him, that he just had to take her out. He had to take them out. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office said the suspect motivation for targeting the Sarasota victims is unknown. Can we speculate? The victims in Florida and Fort Lauderdale shooting, which happened to be in Victoria Park neighborhood, were identified as Larissa Bliudaya and Ben Azivov, 18. Whoa. Oh, this may have been some swinger shit. What do I know? This is weird. What's happening here? There's two Bliudoys. Oh, wait, no. That's Bliudaya. Bliet. Joe Askerberg. I'm not even going to speculate what his relation is. Joe Askerberg, the property manager of the home where those victims were found, told the station that they were a mother and son. Whatever. Couples come in all shapes and sizes. Y'all ever read the story of Oedipus? Sometimes you love your mother so much. This man maybe loved this young boy and loved his mother maybe too much. And that's why this guy took him out. Gutted, obviously, for the whole family involved. Askerberg said to NBC Miami, Larissa was so bubbly and never negative. She was always in good spirits. Aw, how sweet. Is that all they have? That's all they have. No, family talk spoken to. No, what? No direct motives, no texts, nothing. Just, all right, so I'm going to make up a story then because since they are not willing to. Give me one moment. I'm going to tell you guys a story about a man who was screwed over by his ex-wife. There was a man who was named Russell. And one day, Russell walked in on his wife having a phone call with somebody. He couldn't identify who it was, but he didn't think twice about it. He just walked right past. And then he noticed her saying something like, no, he can't hear me right now. There's no way. I'm in the other room. And he thought to himself, well, that's a strange thing to do. So he went and listened, and he heard in on his wife in the next room, and she said, I can't wait to traffic these people with you. I love you so much. There's so much going on in this world, and I can't wait to leave this bastard Russell. I'm going to bring somebody to the orgy. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. And Russell didn't know what to do. Impassioned by this, impassioned and emboldened by this, he felt he needed to take a moment. So he went on a walk. He went on a walk on a dock. You know what I mean? He stood on the pier until he could no longer leer. He relaxed himself and he calmed himself and he grounded himself entirely. And he thought to himself, well, my wife's cheating on me, but what are you going to do about that? I need to worry about this 18-year-old boy she's bringing to the orgy. I don't think she's trafficking him, but I mean, taking anyone across a county or state line is trafficking somebody. So she's trafficking him. And he thinks to himself, I need to be like all of those heroes in a cop film. But he thinks to himself, Jesus Christ, man, what am I going to do? Am I going to turn them in? Am I going to turn them in, or do I have to kill them? Well, she's cheating on me at an orgy and trafficking an 18-year-old. I got to kill him. So he drives out to Fort Lauderdale and he kills his wife and the 18-year-old. He goes, bah, bah. That's it. Kills them. 1-2. Easy peasy. Then he drives out to Sarasota, where the orgy was going to be taking place. And she finds the guy who she had been on the phone with. And he says, hey, you Yaroslav Blildoy? Were you on the phone with my wife? Was she trafficking a young man to you? And he says, Niet. Or something. And then he says, I don't believe you. I have the proof right here. He recorded the call. And he got pictures of their dead bodies. They had a briefcase full of condoms, by the way. This article didn't tell you it, but the next article, they had a briefcase full of condoms. It was full of lube. It was full of toys. It was like they were going to a Diddy party with just 8 people. And so he says, I don't fucking believe you. And he goes, bop, 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 bop. And he fucking ends them all. And right as he's walking out the door, he says to himself, oh my fucking God. I killed my wife. I killed all these fucking people who were just in the middle of having an orgy. I'm no cop. I'm a murderer. Just because she cheated on me didn't give me the right. So as the cops are driving up, all you hear is, woo, 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 woo. He walks out the door. I'm painting you a picture. He's walking out the door of this, like, probably middle-class household. And as he's walking out of this middle-class household that's probably about 2,400 square feet on 1/8 of an acre, he thinks to himself, man, what a shitty fucking household. Boof! And then he fucking blows his brains out in front of the cops. That is a beautiful Valentine's Day story about love, passion, and what you are willing to do when faced with internal trials and conflicts. You know what I mean? And I think he handled this properly. I mean, killing your ex-wife and her 18-year-old lover and the orgy that she was going to, killing all of them and then killing yourself. This was a rational thing. I commend this man, and I say that I hope he makes it to heaven. That's what I say. Because you know what? Anybody who has to suffer through the things that he suffered through should always be awarded a place in heaven. Sometimes it's about passion. Sometimes you don't even mean to kill somebody. Maybe he wasn't even trying to kill anybody. Maybe he just got scared and nervous, and then one thing led to another, and sometimes you just shoot people. You know what I mean? It's like when I shoot my girlfriend with my hot passion whenever she walks in when I'm watching lesbian throuple stuff. Sometimes you don't mean to shoot somebody, but sometimes you do, and sometimes you accidentally shoot them in the face. Like in Minneapolis. Or like with, my girlfriend after I'm watching lesbian throuple stuff. I don't know. I think it's really just a matter of what would you do for love? The FBI investigates links biological labs in Las Vegas and California. Would you start a biolab for love? Would you start a chemical viral biolab for love where you are working on manufacturing viruses that you can insert into the public? Do you love your partner if you're not willing to cause a pandemic for the entire globe? The Las Vegas lab had vials of reddish liquid, the police said. The California lab uncovered in 2023 had materials possibly associated with infectious diseases, officials say. They're talking about... For those of you who didn't watch last week, I think it was last week or whatever, there was a biolab found in Las Vegas, Nevada, and what they found in this biolab was vials and jugs filled with this like clear liquid and reddish liquid, believed to be vials of HIV and COVID and all different types and malaria and Ebola and different types of viruses that they were manufacturing pregnancy tests and COVID tests and stuff like that inside the house. The guy was Chinese, a Chinese citizen, which I think is funny given the situation that happened in 2022 or 2020. Kung Flu Part 2 coming soon, I guess. And one thing, I don't know if this article is going to touch on it. I haven't read too far into this one yet. I have done a little bit. I've read a lot of these about this situation. Apparently, 2 of the people that entered the house initially felt deathly ill and are either dead or are in the hospital. So... what are you willing to do for love if you're not willing to poison people? What are you willing to do for love if you're not willing to take out hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of people because of viruses you leaked into the public? What is love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. COVID. Federal and local law enforcement officials in Las Vegas are investigating a possible illegal laboratory in a residential subdivision that they say may be linked to another similar investigation in California. Oh, yeah. And I brought up the Vegas one. The Chinese citizen guy, Zhu or something like that. I can't remember. ZHU. I'm fucking blanking. But he apparently had a similar lab in California that was also illegal. I like the fact that they say possible illegal laboratory, as if, like, if this was a legal laboratory, why would you be fucking going into the shit to begin? What? I don't know. It's just interesting. And so they arrested that guy. But now this article is about the owner of the property that's also in connection with this. In Las Vegas, Ori Solomon, 55, was charged this week with 1 count of illegal possession of a firearm and with 1 count of disposing and discharging hazardous waste, the police said. Intriguing there. Very intriguing. Excuse me. Mr. Solomon was believed to be the property manager at the Las Vegas home, officials said. A lawyer for Mr. Solomon did not immediately respond to a request for the comment on Friday. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department first became aware of the possible lab after employees of Mr. Solomon reported becoming gravely ill after going into the garage. They don't even have to touch the stuff. They just have to enter the garage and these people are falling deathly ill. Not a good sign of having just one of these things in a house. By the way, why would it be a possibly illegal lab if it's in someone's house? How many labs do you know are made at home? Like, other than like Epstein and Bill Gates, who has labs in their houses? Is that like a casual thing? Am I the weirdo? Am I the one that's fucking out of touch with reality? Is this like, I guess it's just me? According to the police report. Last month, the Las Vegas police received information that laboratory equipment and potentially hazardous materials were likely being kept at the home in northeast Las Vegas, the police said in a statement. The police said Mr. Solomon was a main agent and conspirator with someone connected to the investigation in another illegal biological laboratory in Reedley, California. Funny enough, both of these guys are linked to that lab in California in 2023. Huh. Investigators linked the property owner to a 2023 illegal biological laboratory investigation. Investigators linked the property owner to a 2023 illegal biological laboratory investigation in Reedley, California. Maybe I'm the paranoid one. Where investigators found materials possibly associated with infectious diseases like hepatitis, COVID-19, HIV, malaria, and other potentially dangerous pathogens in a warehouse, according to the police. Are they trying to make like airborne HIV to be a thing? Is that what they want? You know what's funny? And I'm going to get to this here in a second. You know what? I'll save this. Jai Beiju, I told you his last name was Zhu, Z-H-U. Jai Beiju, a Chinese citizen. A Chinese citizen was arrested in October 2023 in connection with manufacturing and distributing misbranded medical devices and for making false statements to the Food and Drug Administration. This is a repeat offense. And these people are just not getting charged with anything. And I think that's the funniest part to me is like, I don't even need to make a joke about this. The fact that they have a fucking garage that people, like, multiple people have walked into and said that they have fallen deathly ill and no one is facing charges. That's comedy. I don't even need to make a joke. That is comedy, my friends. That is comedy. Jesus Christ. That is... According to the court documents, Mr. Zhu and others made imported, sold, and distributed hundreds of thousands of COVID-19 test kits as well as tests for HIV, pregnancy, and urine. None of that sounds good. Are they going to fucking find a dungeon full of pregnant women in there too? Would that surprise you with everything that's been going on? The Las Vegas police did not know if the same kinds of materials were at the Las Vegas home, but because of the possibility, the department's counterterrorism and hazardous material units, along with the FBI and regional fire agencies, undertook extensive preparations to search the home. What the fuck is the FBI gonna do? They're not doing shit about, like, anything right now. What is Kash Patel doing? What actually is Kash Patel doing? That is a legitimate question. Other than just, like, going around gawking at everything and telling people, we've got the situation under control. What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is the FBI doing? A SWAT team wearing protective equipment carried out the search on January 31st and brought with them robots that tested air samples as well as monitoring drones. Anthony Capozzi, Zhu's lawyer, told the Associated Press that his client is not involved in any kind of biolab being conducted in a home in Las Vegas. What the fuck? He was caught. His fingerprints are on the shit and he's denying it. Mr. Capozzi said Mr. Zhu had been in federal custody for 3 years. Brother, that doesn't mean that he is not connected to it. Let me tell you that. Doesn't mean he wasn't connected beforehand. A SWAT team found 3 people renting rooms inside the home. The police said they were not involved in the investigation and were safely removed. Why is no one involved? All of a sudden, there's nobody to fucking take blame. All of a sudden, there's blame is just, oh, we have no fucking clue who the fuck did this. It's just a random biolab where people are falling deathly ill. Red and clear liquid and unnamed vials and jugs. Why does nobody care about this either? Why is this not like bigger? What? How do you live in a house with somebody and not know they're a terrorist? Investigators focused on the garage and found refrigerators, a freezer, laboratory-type equipment, and numerous containers holding unknown liquid substances. The items were consistent with what was found in California investigation. Sheriff McMahill stated the police found a significant volume of material, including various vials and storage containers with liquids of different colors and compositions. You know what? I think this is beautiful that this lovely Israeli and Chinese couple, were able to come together in order to try to poison the American public. That is what love is 2 countries hell-bent on destroying another country, so much so that they go and they send 2 citizens over to claim to be U.S. citizens. They may be U.S. citizens. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know shit. Whatever. They send over two of their citizens over in order to start a biolab. Get caught in 2023. Slap on the wrist. 2 years later, 2.5, 3 years later, another fucking biolab. You know what I love? Consistency among couples. That is a good thing. That's why Bill and Melinda Gates didn't work out. Is because there was no communication and there was no consistency other than him fucking Russian 9-year-old girls. You know what I mean? That's not a consistency that most relationships can actually work on or thrive on. This might be one. Trying to poison an entire country through biolabs that you may or may not illegally be running. You know what? China and Israel, you have done beautiful things over the last several years. Bombing other countries, threatening to overtake them entirely, going out of your way to buy up, every third world country and enslave its citizens. You guys you're a step above. And Happy Valentine's Day to y'all. It is good to see. I love seeing mixed race couples too. You know what I mean? Hence the little crayon peoples. All colors. All shapes and sizes. It's what makes the world go round, baby. It's what makes the world go round. Christopher Del Zotto, the special agent in charge for the Las Vegas FBI office, said the news conference that the officials found biosafety hood, biosafety sticker, a centrifuge, red-brown unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers and refrigerated vials with unknown liquids. Gallon-sized jugs with viruses in it. Anyone want to do shots? He said more than 1,000 samples were taken at the scene. The materials were sent to the FBI lab for further testing. Pretty sure fucking, what's his name? I just brought him up. Kash Patel. I'm pretty sure he said the same fucking thing. Even an allegation of biohazard material is a serious allegation. And that's why neither of these people are in jail right now. Because we believe that even with how serious it is, you just gotta let couples be couples. You know what I mean? Here, actually, this one describes a little bit better about who this guy was. Ori Solomon, the property manager, faces charges. He has to surrender any passport, is not allowed to leave the country, and must notify the court if he plans to leave the Clark County. Must not possess any firearms. Friday's hearing focused on the firearm charge. An Israeli citizen in the U.S. On a non-immigrant visa, Solomon is not allowed access to possess firearms. So, running a biolab and possessing firearms. Somehow running an illegal biolab is getting brushed under the rug while you're dealing with firearm charges. It's a funny thing because now they're just going to add this into the whole firearm debate about how we shouldn't be allowing guns to be such easy access. How can a immigrant come over here and get guns if they're not even supposed to own guns, and blah da 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 da. Prosecutors say multiple guns were seized from his home, according to an affidavit obtained by Channel 13. Solomon also faces criminal charges for disposal of hazardous waste. I read that to you. Biolab recovered biological materials. We have no knowledge that he had any expertise in that area or he's somewhat of trained biologist. So, he is jailed in California and faces charges related to 2023. Okay, so they sent him somewhere else. Property records identified Zhu as the owner of the home on Sugar Springs Drive. He is jailed in California and faces charges related to the 2023 investigation into an illegal laboratory in California. In a warehouse linked to Zhu, investigators found pathogens, COVID-19, as well as hundreds of transgenic mice and boxes of adulterated and misbranded medical tests. Okay. You know what? You know what? I don't even know where to go with this. I was going to, but wow. Investigators say much of what was found in Reedley warehouse is consistent with the materials found in the lab in Vegas. I see what it is. Okay, so maybe Zhu wasn't there, but this guy Solomon was. You know what? When the Chinese fail, send in the Jews. When the Chinese fail, send in the Jews to make your biolab. They didn't want another Asian hate thing. Now they're going to tie this into a fucking Jewish hate is at an all-time high. It's anti-Semitic to say that he was illegally running a biolab. Because why would anyone be illegally running a biolab in another country? Even though he was illegally possessing a firearm, that's anti-Semitic of you. Everything's anti-Semitic now. It's just everything's anti-Semitic. Me saying that things are anti-Semitic is anti-Semitic. I don't understand. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm an old man. You know what I mean? Maybe I just don't. Maybe I'm not hip with the biolab lingo and the grape soda lingo and the gooning lingo and stuff like that. Where do we fit in? The people who weren't molested as kids and the people who weren't good enough to. Hold on, what did I say? And the people who weren't good enough to be a throuple molesting kids. Oh, wait. Beating kids. Whatever. They're all doing stuff to kids. That's the problem here. That's really what it boils down to. Oh, my God. I don't know. It's... What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? And this is not the first Israeli thing that's happened in Vegas. A few months ago, I brought this up a podcast or two ago. There was an Israeli tech manager that was in fucking Vegas with a group of people to meet up with a group of teenage girls. That was the sting operation. Now in Vegas, there's an Israeli citizen running potentially an illegal biolab with hazardous material that is leaving people deathly ill upon entering. Maybe it's not Kung Flu 2.0, maybe it's Jew Flu 1.0. A lot of crazy stuff is going on in the Midwest, you know what I mean? There's prostitution in Vegas from 13-year-olds apparently. There's biolabs. And I mean just along the ways, I think just southeast of there, they shut down the fucking airways over El Paso. Did you guys hear about this? Did you guys know about this? Here, hold on. I want to see what this does. No, you bastard. El Paso Times. They're trying to charge me. Son of a bitch, I may have to charge for this. Why El Paso Airport shut down? What do we know? You know what? I'm not even going to read this because it's all speculative. Nobody actually understands what the fuck is going on right now, and that's what they're about to say. It's all a bunch of speculation, all a bunch of... Maybe it's ICE. Maybe it's the FBI conducting experiments. Maybe there's something going on in the city we're not supposed to know about. Maybe it's gang violence. Maybe it's ICE. It's always ICE. Everybody's saying everything is ICE nowadays. It's just, I like ICE in my margaritas, but I don't think you should blame it for all of the immigration issues. That was bad. Gas station coffee, bad. You know what? Not all gas station coffee is bad. Some is good. Some of them are good. But this is vile. This tastes like the coffee didn't drink pineapple juice this week. You know what I mean? What was I talking about? El Paso. Oh, yeah. Okay, so El Paso Airways are shut down. And for any of you who don't know, El Paso is this lovely little town in Texas, right along the border, like literally a border town on the border of Texas and Mexico. Excuse me. It has a very high kidnapping rate, very bad cartel and gang violence problem, very bad shootings, very bad. It's very high in crime, very, very high in crime. Most border cities are very high in crime, no matter what country you're in, but especially here in that fucking city. And they've shut down the airways, and that for any blah, blah, blah. What that basically means is there's no commercial flights going overhead. Only clearanced people are flying overhead, and you, mother have mercy on you if you fly overhead, because the U.S. government will be taking your ass down. It's just very intriguing. I personally have a theory that what they're doing is they're using this as a giant fucking trafficking scheme. What they're trying to do is get all those people that were in Minneapolis, all the people that were in basically on that western coast, and they're trying to shove them down south that way, or they're trying to bring more people up through there while carrying drugs. I don't know. It's hard to tell what anyone's doing nowadays because it's all murky waters, I guess you could say, but I don't know. It's interesting the place, the particular city they chose, because it's just east of Phoenix, which is the city with the highest kidnappings in the U.S., or one of the highest cities in the one of the cities with the highest kidnappings in the U.S. Well, that's just west of Tucson. Oh wait, not Tucson. Hold on, give me a second. I want to pull this up. I want to give you people some realness. You know what? Since that fucking tablet's not working. I just had this pulled up. And I refuse to let this go. Yep, it is Tucson. It's just El Paso, just east of Tucson, which is just east of Phoenix. El Paso, just south of Albuquerque. El Paso, just west of Dallas. Seems like a very central city, especially if you're conducting, ice raids and stuff like that. And Texas has the highest recorded ice raids of any state currently. So it's just a very intriguing thing. You never know what they got going on there. Maybe they're starting like a Border Patrol musical. Maybe a border musical. And we can hire all of the illegal immigrants. Maybe that's what they're trying to do to stimulate the economy. The idea is that we take these immigrants and we put them to real work. And what does that real work look like? That real work looks like dancing in a musical. It looks like acting in a play. It looks like, federal employee who did background checks for ICE arrested in Bloomington sexting. It looks like being trafficked. What do you do with all these illegal people? Sometimes you traffic them sexually. Come on. What else are you going to do with these citizens you're supposed to be deporting, if not molest them? A federal employee who police say conducted background checks for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and other government agencies was arrested last week in Bloomington prostitution sting. Isn't that great? ICE, baby. ICE, ICE, baby. Dun, 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 dun. It's... What is love? What is loving the immigrants if not to traffic them sexually? What is loving the immigrants if not to solicit prostitution? What is loving your citizens if not to solicit prostitution? Name me a great figure in history that didn't solicit a prostitute. Go on, I'll wait. Can't think of one, can you? All of them. Lightning McQueen, Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Oprah, Chrissy Teigen, Michael Jackson, Beatrix from Kill Bill. No, she saved kids. Sorry, she didn't traffic them. Bill from Kill Bill. Some of the greats. Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges said Department of Defense contractor Brashad Johnson, 36 of Maple Grove, was one of 30 suspects arrested as part of an undercover operation targeting people seeking to pay for sex. I read somewhere that they were trying to... Yeah, here we go. This is the most disturbing arrest we've had here, Hodges said of Johnson. He is a backgrounder for ICE, Homeland Security, and federal agencies. So when you're getting your security clearance, this is one of the guys who does your backgrounds, which is kind of scary. After all of the articles I've read about ICE and all of these things, for any of you at home who are anti-ICE, this is something you should probably go and look up and use in one of your posters, or go and tag and hashtag and retweet and all that stuff. What do the kids do now? They take talks. They go and take a tick. Tick of the time bomb. Which is kind of scary. ABC 6 News. Johnson's arrest comes less than 3 months after an ICE agent was arrested in Bloomington on suspicion of soliciting sex from a minor. You guys are not helping yourselves right now. This one is not good. Hodges said the 30 arrests as part of Operation Lookin'. Wait a minute. This is great. Hodges said the 30 arrests are a part of Operation Looking for Love in all the wrong places. That is great. That's great. Operation Looking for Love in all the wrong places. And what better story for Valentine's Day? Come on, man. Let's set these cops up when they get out. You guys want to go on a date with them? Everybody here who's been single, all of these people who are single and alive in these articles, at the end of this podcast, here, hold on. I got to fix this shit. Fucking ponytail. Son of a bitch. You know, guys, when you do podcast stuff, they'd ever tell you to go bald. They just try and push you to be bald by forcing Rogan in your face. Rogania. All I gotta say is, it's not easy having hair. Nair. Operation Looking for Love in all the wrong places. Looking for love in all the wrong places, baby. You know what? I love love. I don't love these guys kind of love, but who are we to judge love? You know what I mean? Some couples kill their babies. Some couples abuse children. Some couples traffic children. Some couples have other people assassinated. Some couples go and make porn together and then get into boxing matches when you let another man go make a porno with your woman. Sometimes these things happen in this world. Operation Looking for Love in all the wrong places was a Bloomington Police Department record for a single operation. He added that undercover officers posing as sex workers spoke to a total of 330 people online. Of the 30 men arrested last week, 28 will face gross misdemeanor charges. What the fuck? You went through a whole sting just to give out 28 misdemeanors? You went through a whole sting for 28 misdemeanors. The remaining 2 were booked on felony charges because they're repeat offenders. One person who spoke to undercover investigation for potential sex trafficking. Okay. You know what? Sometimes you love your country so much, you want to embrace its darkest fruits. You know what I mean? You want to embrace all of the flavors, the dark, juicy, or robust taco-flavored flavors. Especially if you're an ICE agent. Mamacita. Papa Nana. That's from a, for all you kids at home, that's from a Outcast track. It's called Mamacita. Can't fucking think of it off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Mamacita. Papa Nana. But I don't know. Sometimes you want to eat that dark fruit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to eat that dark fruit. You got to embrace it with a little bit of ice. Just a little bit of coolness to you. You feel me? Just like, I don't know. I don't really judge these ICE agents. We've all been there. We've all been there before. Sometimes when you're arresting people for illegally being in your country, allegedly, you are transporting them across the states, and you think to yourself, you know what this person who is being sent to another country against their will might want? $50 for some head. Come on, man. It's not like you're going anywhere. Come on. What are you gonna... It's $50. $50 is $50. You know what I'm saying? Like, free my niggas in ICE. Don't actually free them. Jesus Christ. But, like, that rhymed. That wasn't even intentional. Sometimes, though, your passion overflows. Your passion overflows. And the only way to relieve yourself is with a little relief. You know what I mean? You got to let the passions just shoot out of you. And sometimes the best ways to let those passions explode out of you really is just to go and hit the strip. You know what I mean? FBI Epstein files reference Cocoa Beach locations and Merritt Island Aviation Company raising new questions for Brevard County. This is a guy who knows how to let his passions explode out of him. This is a guy who knows how to relieve himself. You know what I mean? This is a man who knows a thing or two about a thing or two. You feel me? Newly released federal records tied to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation include direct references to locations in Brevard County, expanding the known geographic footprint of allegations connected to Epstein beyond Palm Beach and South Florida. Is this what you're protecting us from, Wayne Ivey? From Epstein? He clearly didn't, because he's been here. Ben had his footprint. What were you doing? Not stopping Epstein. You weren't even dealing with speeders at that point the way that you should. Well, I mean, let me not say should have been. It was nice when you were able to drive from fucking 46 to 50 in 5 minutes. And most people who live here would agree with me. It's, you know, when you get new people into a town and you get new money into a town, it doesn't always get better. It doesn't always get nicer. Sometimes it just becomes more of a truck stop than it already was, because you don't have any people here who are trying to bring in real businesses that want to make the place nicer. And people here just don't like, I don't know, they're kind of dirty and they keep things to like, they like feeling like drug addicts. It's, I don't know why I'm digressing. Probably because I'm commenting on our failing sheriff to have dealt with Epstein. While he was here in Brevard, in Cocoa. I was just in Cocoa like yesterday or the day before. I drive past these places that were mentioned in this like fucking email. I've been to the places that were mentioned in this email. It's like, that's the crazy thing sometimes, is it's a small world. You know what I mean? It is a very, very small world, and you never know who you'll run into. You never know who you're going to see. Maybe you'll go to the strip club and you'll see Epstein. The documents released as part of the broader Epstein files disclosure include FBI crisis intake reports dated July 8th, 2019, as well as aviation-related records connected to a Merritt Island business. Merritt Island is 20 minutes from here, I'd say, give or take, right? Yeah? 20 minutes? On a decent day, it's about 20 minutes. That means this man was just up the road, Mr. Sheriff Wayne Ivey. Part of your county. I'm not even going to blame you entirely for this, because if you've seen any of the connections this man had, he probably walked around without impunity for a little while. Wayne Ivey may have been one of the people who knew about it. I'm not saying he was, but you got to wonder, who was the sheriff at the time? Who was allowing so much of this freelance stuff to just go on? You know what I mean? Maybe it's just me. While the records do not allege criminal wrongdoing by any Brevard businesses, of course not, no. Because no one in Brevard ever does anything wrong. Brevard County, the only people who do anything wrong in Brevard County are the speeders. They document allegations and logistical information that place Epstein-related activity on Florida's Space Coast. Hell yeah! We could have had him as a neighbor. I could have had Epstein as a neighbor at one point. You know what that would have done for my property value? Do you have any clue, like, what that would have done for my income at some point? No, of course none of you do, because all you think about is yourself. FBI intake references Cocoa Beach locations. This is the fun stuff. According to the FBI crisis intake report, a caller contacted the FBI National Threat Operations Center to provide information related to alleged human trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and associates. Within the narrative portion of the report, the caller referenced Epstein being seen at locations in Cocoa Beach, Florida, specifically naming The Grill, which some locals claimed is referring to Grill's Seafood, the dockside restaurant at Port Canaveral. Been there. Decent food. Great place for trafficking children. You gotta try the jerky. Get a cup of grape soda with it while you're at it. Get some pizza. Some good eats. Warm up with the jerky. Get a nice fucking pepperoni. Cup of the grape soda, you know what I mean? Slice of za. Slice of some za and some grape soda. Cheaters, a Cocoa Beach area strip club. I've been there. That place is disgusting. The owner probably did let him do whatever with these young ladies. I'm going to be 100% honest. If you come here to Brevard and you ever think about going to the strip club, just drive an hour away to Orlando and you'll actually find decent strip clubs. There's quite a few out there that have women that don't look like they're strung out. There are some nice looking strippers here in Brevard, but let me tell you what, majority or not, they're good for Brevard standard, and that is a low standard if there ever was one. Cheaters is a place where Spanish strippers go to make a dime off of chubby white guys. You know what I mean? That's the best way I could describe that place. It's decent. I mean, it's... Sorry, I think God caught me lying with that one. It's okay. Check it out. There's like one pole, 4 strippers, 18 guys. It's a great place. Last time we went, we had a pregnant bartender. Wasn't that right? Yeah, we had a fucking pregnant bartender. But me and Co sat there for fucking 15 minutes. We just wanted to see what the night was like before we did anything else. We were like, maybe we'll go and do something else somewhere.
That baby did not consent.
No, it did not. That was a sad night. None of the strippers looked good. None of the dancing was good. Oh, actually, no. That's a lie. That is a complete lie. There is one that was up there that was fucking flipping around like a spider monkey. They do well. Some of them do well. I'm not going to fucking lie about this. Like, I know I'm giving mixed feelings about it. Check it out. Tell me how you feel. You get what I mean? Cheaters is a great representation of Brevard. Check it out. You'll understand what I mean. Because that's our strip club. Your strip club and how nice it is reflects how much money your community has. How much are your rich guys willing to pay on seeing some titty? You know what I mean? Area docks and marinas associated with cruise ship activity. You know what's funny? They probably were just waiting there at the docks. They went to the grill, they fucking had a few drinks, they went to Cheaters and they got a few young ladies, and then they went to the hotel rooms on the beaches and young ladies, those children, and then he fucked those children, and then he got to drive 15 minutes up the road and go to the cruise ships and pick up a fresh new load after dropping off a few loads. Epstein, that guy. I'm sorry. The report describes these locations as places allegedly frequented by Epstein and others. You know what's funny? Just 2 years later, I'm pretty sure I was 21 and able to start hitting these strip clubs. I was just out of reach of getting to meet the great Mr. Financier Epstein. I could have met this man at the strip club. You know how crazy that's a small world. You know how many people around here probably met him at the strip club? You know how crazy that is to think that one of the most prolific pedophiles in history was just at a place that I could take a 25-minute drive to. That most people around here have been to. Man and woman have been to. And everyone enjoys their time when they go. It's just, you gotta wonder. It makes me wonder now, like, what was going on in those back rooms? Been invited into them. Let me tell you what, never paid the extra. Never pay the extra. That's how they fucking get you. And it's never worth the money. I mean, it's really not. They're, como se dice, cheap. No, god damn it. I hit an ad. Hold on. Sorry. Charging observation and beliefs. The FBI documents reflects unverified intelligence intake and not charging document. No allegations of criminal conduct are made against the named businesses within the report. Of course. You know why? Because they would never do anything illicit at any of these businesses. Now I'm going to read to y'all the email. We got a lot to get through, but you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make it worth it. Let's see. What do we got here? Federal Bureau of Investigations. This is from the FBI. Redacted. Called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to report further information on human trafficking committed by Jeffrey Epstein and others in various cities in Florida. Provided the following information. Blank is blank who worked from blank and blank also who also worked blank. She spent time with the Warlocks Motorcycle Club. That's a motorcycle gang down here in Florida. For any of you who don't know, they got a hangout down in Cocoa. It's just outside of Cocoa Village by about 3 minutes, I'd say. It's on your right hand side if you're going east. It's on your left hand side if you're going west. You know what? That's a good. 15 minutes up from the strip club. It's not a bad trip. That's not a bad try. It's not a bad drive. It's not a bad trip. Fuck. What am I? Autistic? Blank, she spent time with the Warlocks Motorcycle Club. Blank described them as respectful towards her. Blank, during that time period, one of the known Warlock members, a man known as Boudin, Boodan, Boudin? 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 Bodan? Boudin. Also known as Boudin phonetic. Boudin phonetic. Boudin was an active member of the Warlocks, who was also seen regularly with Epstein at various other locations to include the docks and strip clubs in the area. So in other words, if you guys are going to be investigating anything, you also now have to investigate these biker gangs because allegedly one of them was dealing with Epstein. What does that tell you? Maybe these biker gangs and shit like that are connected with child trafficking. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm just saying it's a funny coinky-dink. And there is kidnappings here. There are a lot of people who take drugs in exchange for sexual favors. BDSM is a crazy thing in this community. This is an extreme... Brevard is a community with an extremely bad drug problem, an extremely high sexual... high STD rate, and people are ready to fuck constantly. If you meet someone at a bar and they are 3 drinks in, you may only need to ask. It is that simple sometimes. And I'm not trying to be rude, but that's just the people of the area. I've lived here for so long. I'm telling you, God's honest truth. There are people who could verify if I had ways to get them to verify, but I'm not going to bring on one of these weirdos I might bring on one of these weirdos on my podcast one day. Listen to anything Daniel Tosh said about this town. It's fucking crazy. Boudin was never seen at blank with, various other locations, including docks and strip clubs area. Boudin was never seen at blank with Epstein. Blank knows Boudin and Epstein spent time with Miserable George, quote unquote, Miserable George, who is the official photographer of the club at the time. So the photographer for the strip club is who Epstein spent his time with. Interesting. I wonder how he got it in there. She always saw Epstein, Boudin, and Miserable George with what she described as quote unquote young girls and now would refer to them as quote unquote as babies. She noticed they always spent time with their younger girls and would hook the girls up with Miserable George. Very interesting. That even just up the road from here, the trafficking, the blackmailing, the behind closed doors stuff, it's still going on. I guarantee you. You go up the road, something's happening. You can everywhere here in Brevard, crime goes on. People in Brevard, even myself, we get a little rush from the crime. Come on, how you gonna hate on it? Epstein is like Satan, and these people are dumb as Eve. It's I don't know what to tell you. Or they're guys as dumb as Adam who fall for the pussy of Eve. That's Brevard. Hook girls up with miserable George. Those bars and strip clubs they frequented included the Grill, a place where the cruise ships disembarked, embarked, and specifically described hearing the Disney music always playing. Very interesting. Playing Disney music, and Disney's been known for having child trafficking issues, and now the cruise ships are child trafficking. So it's a straight line from the port to Disney. That's an interesting topic nobody talks about here. It's literally getting on one highway and driving out here. It's one main road. They've probably taken so many children from Orlando to that port and made it seem like a kid's cruise. You know how crazy that shit is? You know how fucking psychotic that is? What do I know? Playing Disney music. Disney music always playing. Cheaters, a strip club on Cocoa Beach. Meh. And other upscale docks and marinas. There are quite a few out there. There are some private places you can go, some hotels with a little bit of privacy, some nicer restaurants if you want to be behind closed doors, some restaurants with the hotel. There's always somebody here who wants money too. I mean, you can bribe virtually anybody in this town, and I sincerely mean that. It's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. Corruption is bad unless I am a part of it. So I have mixed feelings on corruption. She thought it was unusual to see a warlock at those types of areas because they were known to be blue-collar types or middle-class types. Yeah, because all they do is put their money into their bikes. They ride around in their leather warlock jackets, blue jeans, and black t-shirts most of the time. Most of the women in their cut-off fucking vests and shit. They got their helmets on. These fuckers are such assholes. They will drive in front of you specifically so you can't go around them and cut them off. Like, they'll travel in a pack of like a dozen, and they'll block off both sides so people can't pass them because they like feeling like running the road. It makes them feel like their dicks are bigger when in reality, that's why they're with Epstein. They need to get off to the kids. You know what I mean? Don't come after me. These are jokes. It's all satire. There's no need for any violence. Don't take it up with me. I'm reading an article about you. I'm not even doing. I'm making jokes about an article made about you by a news network. I wish nothing upon anybody that is ill. I have no ill will, no ill intent. I wish only good things for all of you. And Boudin, wherever you are, I hope you're doing well too. Additionally, Blank said it was a common belief that Boudin lived off of a royalty or something similar because he always had money, owned the expensive motorcycles, went on all the rides, and never worked. He may have been a drug dealer or a child trafficker. If he's associated with Epstein and he's hitting restaurants with Epstein, you're assuming he's living off of a grant or a royalty. You're assuming that he, in the great words of Lucky from King of the Hill, you think he slept and fell on pee-pee. Is that what you think happened here? That he got pee-pee money from Costco? No. All right, he's with Epstein. What the actual flying fuck here? I'm a comedic podcaster. I shouldn't be connecting more dots than you here. Fucking retards. God damn you retards. Fuck. Never worked. She believed Boudin was arrested for crimes against young girls sometimes after she returned to blank due to blank. Blank self-described as blank. What the fuck is this shit? So he's charged with crimes against young girls. He's with Epstein, but he's living off of royalties. Is this what you're protecting us from, Wayne Ivey? Is this what you're protecting us from, Wayne Ivey, from child traffickers? Because I don't think you're doing it very well. All I gotta say is, Mr. Wayne Ivey, you should lay off the speeders and go for the sex offenders. You know, I'd rather have speeders than 7-year-olds sodomized. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know what you like to have going on. I don't know what you do in your fancy gated community. I don't know what you have going on. But, maybe we're targeting the wrong things here. It's growing on me. Oh, it's growing on me. Coffee, man. I love coffee, but wow, what is this? I love coffee like Epstein loves children, minus the sexual intercourse. I would eat coffee. I would drink coffee. I would sacrifice coffee to God. I would go out of my way to traffic coffee. I would literally even, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have sex with coffee. I'd jerk off onto coffee. But these guys are crazy. All right, let's see this. Merritt Island aviation documents include in the release. In the addition to the FBI intake narrative, the release includes aviation configuration documents tied to Southeast Aerotech, located at 675 Oleander Drive in Merritt Island. Southeast Aerotech, located at 675 Oleander Drive in Merritt. You know what else is out here? We've got SpaceX and Reich Brothers and what would we have? What's the Blue Origin? We've got a lot of stuff out here. We've got a military base out here. The documents detail auxiliary fuel tank configurations for a Boeing 727-100. Interesting. Fucking Epstein had his Boeing 727. Including fuel capacity, tank placement, and range-related modifications. Epstein's use of aircraft and long-range flight capabilities has been a central component of federal tracking investigations, as aircrafts were used as transport individuals across the state and international borders. I think you guys are missing it. I think that maybe some were trafficked on the planes, but we're right on a port. You know how many kids could probably be coming in one of those shipping crates? You know how fucking crazy of a thought that is? That you could stuff people into shipping crates and send them out and get them in? That happens regularly. Immigrants do that sometimes. People just trying to get themselves smuggled into the country will literally hide themselves in shipping containers, hoping that they fucking make it. I'm not saying that this is exactly what's happening, but there are so many cruise ships that go in and out of this port and all over the Bahamas. It's just very intriguing, the connections that are being made here. This isn't even comedy. I'm not even making jokes at this point. It's comedy just reading this. The inclusion of these records indicates that the aircraft modification or servicing connected to Epstein's fleet occurred or was documented in Brevard County. There's private airstrips out here, out in Scottsmore, Titusville. We just added an airport actually over here in Titusville. Excuse me, there's one in Melbourne. We have several airports here in Brevard. And then just up the road off of 528, I think, we have Orlando International. It's a 40-minute drive from here, 45-minute drive from here. So we have 4 airports going out of this place, I believe. And we have multiple private airstrips because there are a lot of rich citizens here. We have the Orlando International, and we have all of the cruise liners going out of the port. I wonder why Epstein liked this fucking place. The inclusion of these records the documents do not allege that Southeast Aerotech engaged in criminal conduct, nor do they indicate knowledge of criminal activity. No. Okay, you know what's funny? These businesses in Brevard did actual business with Epstein, legitimate business with Epstein, and no one speculates a fucking thing about them. But people in the Epstein files, who are sometimes just mentioned in the Epstein files, are being speculated as being child traffickers. You know what? They're trying to brush it all under the rug, by the way. You search on Google, you're not finding any of this shit. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I have to search thoroughly to find some of this stuff sometimes. Hey, look, a diagram of his Boeing. That's beautiful. It's more like an overhead view and a side view. Expanding Epstein's Florida footprint. Public discussion of Epstein's activities has historically centered on Palm Beach, New York, and U.S. Virgin Islands, but now newly released records indicate alleged Epstein activity in Brevard County, including Cocoa Beach and Merritt Island. You know, it's just, is this what you were trying to protect us from, Wayne Ivey? Because I think that if you're trying to protect us from this, you got to stop worrying about the speeders. And I got to say this to you guys here in Brevard. I need all of you for like 10 fucking minutes to get your head out of your asses and start paying attention to the reality of what's going on around you. I know so many of you. I know a lot of you in this area. And the world does not mean much more to you than what you are told about it. The world does not mean much more to you than the high that presides over you at that very second. Reality does not mean much more than what you are wanting it to mean in that second. And I'm begging you guys, just take a moment, please. We got to start paying better attention because this is absolutely insane that Epstein was literally this is me actually being serious. Epstein was in our fucking backyard. There are child traffickers in our backyard with gang ties, and people are just so happy to know these motorcycle gangs or these small inner city gangs that we have here in Brevard. I'm fucking fine with gangs too. I don't give two shits. Traffic all the drugs you want. You guys want to shoot each other? I don't give two fucking shits. I fucking buy weed from half of you motherfuckers. Or I have. Allegedly. Whoever the fuck you may be. Allegedly. My point is, like, I don't give them two shits about none of the gang shit. But the child trafficking, man, it's just so... How do we not pay that much attention? Just as a community. It is just a curious thing. It is... We're worried about speeders and we're worried about letting people go when their child dies or when they're abusing children. We're worried about We're worried about fucking the 3 people trafficking drugs in Melbourne, and I think these are things to worry about. Yes, drugs are a bad problem here, but like, it's just, and I know it's all connected. I know before any of you fucking cocksuckers at home, oh, it's all connected. The drugs are being trafficked with the kids who are being trafficked with the dead who are being I understand how the fuck the networking goes, but we're only shooting after a few fucking things right now instead of actually shooting for like how is it so, like, Brevard is small. Everybody here knows everybody's business. You can know somebody's business in fucking Melbourne who you've never met if you live in Mims. And I swear on that with all the things in my fucking heart. That is truth. That is truth. And vice versa. It's a small county. Very fucking small county. Some people even live in a city where they have to drive the 40 minutes here in Brevard County to still go work. It's a small county. It's a small fucking county. And to think we all know everybody's business, but we didn't know this business. And the sheriffs didn't know any of this stuff, right? And all of these things. It's just kind of funny to me. I don't know. And, you know, a while ago, I speculated that they released LSD back into the Brevard County system because they were trying to do an MK Ultra 2.0 style thing with the modern generation. I still thoroughly believe that, and I think this even adds more to my fucking theory, but it's just how deep it goes as well, because this is not the only fucking person. This is not the only county in which these things occur. This is not the only county in which a sheriff has failed us. This is not the only county in which someone has gone out of their way to look the other way for Mr. Epstein. Fucking Sheriff Grady Judd. Sheriff Grady. You know what? Here, I'm going to pull this fucking thing up so I can give you a little overview of who this fucking man is. So you can understand what I'm about to say. Curtis Grady Judd is an American law enforcement officer serving as the sheriff of Polk County, Florida since 2005. Since 2005. since 2005. You also know who was getting their first conviction in 2005? Mr. Epstein. Very funny that he comes down here during the same time frame. It's funny. It's laugh. Laugh. It's fucking funny. God damn it. It's he's in Lakeland, Florida. About an hour away from here. Hour and a half away from here. Very funny. What do I know? The reason I bring this up and bring you that and read you that little thing is because Sheriff Grady Judd was listed in the Epstein files. You heard that right, folks. Sheriff Grady Judd is the one that was in the Epstein files. The fucking sheriff of Polk County. Best buddies with R. Wayne Ivey. There's even a photo on here of these two standing side by side at a couple different events. It's just... Again, is this what you're protecting us from, Wayne Ivey? No, clearly not, because one of your fucking buddies was in the Epstein files. And I'm going to read this to you guys. Christine C. blank sent Tuesday, August 12th, 2025, 7:41 a.m. His emails go back to even just last year? Are you kidding me? It makes you wonder, did he actually die? Because if there's still emails and files redacted and all of these things involving him, why is that? 2 U.S. Annie's Epstein Maxwell victims, blank. Subject, external Epstein files. 2 Honorable Richard Berman, Honorable Paul Engelmeyer. Good morning. I wrote to you previously regarding Epstein. I really need help outside of Florida because these agents that have been terrorizing me and are... Let me restart this. I'm sorry. Good morning. I wrote to you previously regarding Epstein. I really need help outside of Florida because these agents that have been terrorizing me and are corrupt, and I believe they are psychopaths. I am living in a nightmare and they have threatened my life. So in other words, Florida sheriff's agents, Florida department agents, Florida law enforcement are threatening people's lives. And other people believe that our law enforcement are psychopaths. I'm a target of the very people who raped me. In 2021, I ended up in jail and didn't know why I was there. A Sheriff Grady Judd entrapment along with the FBI. Sheriff Grady Judd was at the church raping me as a child, and the CIA and FBI knew and did nothing to help me or my younger sister. This is... Sheriff Grady Judd was raping little girls according to the Epstein files. This isn't even me. This is according to the files released by the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is accusing a Florida sheriff who is currently still in office and friends with other sheriffs in Florida is accused of raping a little girl. Multiple. This is like... And the CIA and FBI just corroborated his stories. That's what I'm getting out of this. Is this what we're being protected from, Wayne Ivey? From your buddy? We're being protected from your buddy? We fuck speeders. We're being protected from this guy who's raping little girls in churches. Makes you wonder what the churches are involved with here too, because, you know, the sheriffs are all good church-going people and, you know, the money's got to go somewhere, and sometimes it goes into the church, and the church's money goes back into the sheriff's departments and the local cops, TPD, other things like that. Makes you wonder how the cycle goes. The FBI knew I was raped by Epstein when I was between the age of about 10 and 12 years old, and they knew I was gang raped by Stephen Bannon and 9 other men while strapped down on tables at Epstein's. Jesus Christ. I think that's crazy. Of all of this, she said 9 other men, but she identified 3 thus far. One of them being Epstein, the fucking main proprietor of all of these things, the John Gotti of pedophiles. Sheriff Grady Judd, who is still in office, by the way, 71 years old, still working in Polk County, Florida, best buddies with R. Wayne Ivey. Makes you wonder. Right? You know, Epstein was here in Brevard County. He had affiliations with gangs. He has affiliations with cops. Direct access to a port, an airport just up the road as well. Several. Just makes you a little curious, doesn't it? Or is that just me? And for those of you who don't know, Operation Paperclip, well, where do you think they took the Nazis? Brevard County, maybe. You know, if you go to Cocoa Village, there is a brick building across from a restaurant called, oh shit, I can't remember it off the top of my, it's this little Cocoa fucking Italian restaurant. Whatever, I'll probably remember it at some point. It's, maybe Portofino's? The point is, across from this restaurant, there's a brick building, and on that building, there's a Freemason symbol at the very top, and just below that, there's a swastika. I don't mean like a peace symbol swastika. I mean like a, at an angle, set up specifically like a Nazi would do, swastika. And it makes you wonder, where were those Nazis that were brought over here for NASA? Where did they stay? Did they stay here in Brevard? Was he meeting up with people? I mean, he had, emails with Elon, and Elon had SpaceX starting up out here again. So were there children being trafficked to Elon here in fucking SpaceX? Were there children being trafficked by Epstein to and from Brevard County? What the fuck was actually happening here? I think these are very, maybe not good questions, but decent at least. Because what I'm gathering is, what's it called?
The location is called Local Art Gallery. It has no reviews.
Okay, local art. What's the restaurant I was talking about? Osorio, the restaurant that I was referring to that this brick building is across from is called Osorio. And if you guys ever want to go down there, there's an ice cream shop, a little antique store, fucking ties. There was the beer garden, but that shut down. Ryan's Pub is just up the road. It's a great place. It's an okay place. It's got decent stuff. Worth checking out, especially apparently if you're a pedophile. Or a Nazi. Or a Freemason. But what do I know? I'm just a local. Strapped down at a table at Epstein's. These men targeted me because they made reference of me being strapped down and raped as a child. This was my punishment for telling that I saw James Bulger and Kevin Weeks kidnap a child. So they brought it up. So that's fucking crazy. What she's accusing is that not only was she raped by Sheriff Grady Judd as a child, but she was arrested and threatened and brought up and reminded of the fact that she was raped as a child, and that all because she reported people kidnapping a child. This witch hunt started when I was 5 years old. I couldn't remember, but I remember now that I told my teacher I was being molested, and I told her I witnessed my parents doing a kidnapping. They weren't my parents. My teacher, Janice Farnham of Prattville School, tried to get me help, but help never came. James Bulger's connections were obviously powerful. You want to know something funny? This does happen quite often. Most people don't know this. People who are kidnappers, pimps, madams, Epstein Gislaines, sometimes they'll have people who are hired to be pretend parents, so that way the children become accustomed to these people and get to know them and develop a relationship with them. But these children don't realize is that they were kidnapped when they were babies or little kids, and now they're placed in someone else's care, but this person's care is trafficking them wherever it may be, whether it's to other rich people, whether it's to their friends, whatever the case is. These fake parents will help people like Epstein, and they'll have multiple children with people, or they'll find children and they'll traffic it to them, and it gets, the rabbit hole gets very dark. But this is a real thing. So I don't know. What am I gonna say? The good sheriff, he's doing his job. The good sheriff is doing his job, and I like that. I respect that. Because you know what? If you're not willing to use your power or abuse your power as a sheriff, who even are you? Can I trust you if you are not willing to abuse your power to rape and molest people and blackmail them so that way they never go and report anyone else who could potentially be kidnapping or raping kids? What would I think of you? If you weren't running blackmail operations, what would I think of you? If you weren't raping minors, would I think less of you? Would I think more of you? What would I think of you? Don't ask what I would think of you, but this is just a general question. You know, it's they're putting those big stars to use, you know what I mean? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And in a church, no less. In God's household. As if the priests weren't busy enough having to compete with 12-year-old boys for girls. Now the sheriffs are doing it too. As if the 12-year-old boys weren't busy enough having to compete with the priests and the billionaire pedophiles and fucking weirdos on Snapchat and Winter Park. Now they have to compete with the sheriffs of Florida. I'm sorry, young man. They're not making it easy for you. I don't... And some of these stories I read, the young girls are not making it easy for themselves. It seems like they want to be trapped and molested and trafficked sometimes. I'm not saying that's what they want in the slightest, because most people don't want to be trafficked and molested, hence it being molested. But, well, to molest is to touch. So raped. They get raped. And that's the thing, is like, no one wants to get raped, hence why it's raped. Where was I going with this? Something about sheriffs and what do I think of you? Sorry, young boys. It's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be hard to find a good girl at the age of 16 who's not been raped. I don't know what to tell you. I don't actually know what to say anymore other than that. It's like Disney is raping little girls. Our politicians are raping little girls. Our sheriffs are raping little girls. I'm sorry, young boys. If you want a virgin girl, you're going to have to become a pedophile. That's the problem. You see, that's the thing, is it's like trickle-down economics. When the billionaires and the adults shoot for 16-year-olds, the 16-year-olds can't shoot for 16-year-olds. They got to shoot for like 13-year-olds. And then when they shoot for 13-year-olds, the 13-year-olds got to shoot for 10-year-olds. The 10-year-olds got to shoot for like 6-year-olds, and the 6-year-olds are hitting on infants. It's not a pretty sight. It's not a pretty sight. It's trickle down, it's trickle down petonomics. You get what I mean? It starts at the top with the top dog pedophiles, and it works its way down, so everyone just kind of has to deal with what they get in this next rung of it. So when pedophiles start going for 12-year-olds, what are 16-year-old boys gonna do? They're gonna go for 5-year-olds? That's disgusting. I think that trickle-down petonomics is not good for young men, especially here in Florida, because now they just have that much more to compete with. I knew women who were the age of 12, 13, and 14 who had been Eiffel Towered or had trains ran on them or wound up pregnant by the age of 14 or 15. That is what this town provides, by the way. That is not... None of what I just described to you is so uncommon that somebody else hasn't heard of it or done it themselves when they were younger. That's the craziest thing. That's one of the craziest parts. God damn it. It's just love. You know, it strikes you at a young age, and apparently it strikes these guys to fall in love with a young age as well. What a young love. Who are we to deny it? Even to the sheriffs. Young love. Young love. Young, unabashed, unrelenting, not outside of a church. Love. You see, I think that's the thing. That's probably why they did it in a church. He felt the presence of God, and he wanted to give that presence to this child. Maybe this poor young lady just couldn't handle the presence of God. Maybe it's not even Sheriff Grady Judge she's mad at. Maybe it's God. Did you ever think about that? Read a Bible. Pff, victim my ass. Church boys get molested by the fucking priests. Altar boys get molested by the priests. Apparently, young girls get molested by the sheriffs in the churches. Imagine going to a confession booth and on one side the sheriff's going in to confess and on the other side is the priest. The fucking priest says, "Welcome in, son. What can I do for you?" And the sheriff looks at him and says, "Father, forgive me. It's been 1 week since my last confession." And the priest says, "You are forgiven, son. 2 Hail Marys." And he says, "Okay, good. I'll make sure I get those." And the sheriff looks at him through the grate and he says, "Hey, sheriff, do you like pizza?" And the priest goes, "Well, yes, I do, son. I do like pizza." I don't know why he became Irish, but it's an Irish priest. It fits the bill. You get what I mean? "Why, yes, son, I do like pizza. I actually like a good slice of pepperoni at least once a week." And the sheriff goes, "All right, good. I really like pizza too. Do you like beef jerky? You like soda?" And the priest goes, "Well, to tell you the truth, I'm not a fan of beef jerky. It's a bit too dried out for my taste, and I'm not a fan of the flavorings that they add to the meats. It just doesn't do it for me. Maybe if somebody had cooked it right in front of me or like set it up in front of me or something. But not a fan of jerky. I do like soda though." And the sheriff looks at him and goes, "Oh, good, good. So last week I fucked a 12-year-old in the mouth, and I feel like God told me to do it, but I didn't know if that was the right thing or not, so I wanted to come and speak to you, Priest Valen, and ask, how do you feel about this situation, and was it the right thing to do? Should I not have fucked that 12-year-old girl in the butt? Should I not have, like, potentially gotten the girl pregnant? Huh? Should I not, Mr. Priest? Mr. Priest Valen?" And the priest goes, "Oh, well, that's not a good thing to do there, son. I can't condone that activity. I can't actually go and tell anyone about this, but say 10 Hail Marys and be on your way there." And the sheriff goes, "All right, I think that's fair. 12 Hail Marys. 12 Hail Marys for 12. 12 Hail Marys, son, and be on your way." The sheriff walks out of there feeling like a new man. Feeling like a new sheriff. Fucking cock of the walk. You know what I'm saying? And the Irish priest just shakes his head on his way out. This is the 8th cop that's done that this month. You know what's so much funnier is that this is not the only thing where Epstein has been in Florida. Like, he has been all over Florida, it seems. And I just love the fact that we're getting everyone across the central state. This is what it's like, central Florida. Where Brevard County is East Coast Central Florida. We're directly center of the state to the east. West of us is Osceola and Orange County, and then just on the other side of Osceola is Polk County. An hour away. Everywhere you want to get there is probably about an hour and a half from here. Off of 528. Very interesting. I don't know. It's going to be curious exactly what all comes out, because now Ghislaine she pled the fifth the other day, by the way, when they were fucking interrogating her, and now all of a sudden she's willing to talk as long as Trump grants her a little clemency. If this committee and American public truly want to hear the unfiltered truth about what happened, there is a straightforward path. Miss Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Yeah, she's going to throw everyone under the bus. She's going to throw Andrew, Clinton, Teal, Clinton, fucking Musk, everybody under the bus except for Donnie T. You know what's funny? And I do want to say this here. I called him Donnie T about 3 podcasts ago, maybe 4, maybe however long ago. before all of this released, and I read some of the files, they were calling him Donnie. Donnie. And then Donnie T. You know what? To get in the mind of these people, sometimes you just got to start throwing around nicknames. You know what I mean? You don't want to get in with them and wind up like Sheriff Grady Judd where you're raping 12-year-old girls. But you want to if you want to catch them, you got to throw out nicknames. Y'all got to stop being so hateful and angry with these people. You got to be like, if you hate Peter Thiel, be like, what's up, Petey? Fucking pedo. Pedo. Or like I do with Billy Boy Gates. It's all fun. It's all fun. You gotta rabble rouse, you know what I mean? They're just people too. Except they eat, rape, experiment with drugs and viruses on children. It's just, what are you gonna do about it? Come on. They're people too. You remember that whole thing a little bit ago where celebrities were like, we're people just like you. We are people just like you. And then all of a sudden these celebrities started pushing about their agendas, and now all of a sudden these celebrities are eating children or raping children. Marcus said, I'm pretty sure that's her lawyer, only she can provide the complete account. Yes, she can. Only she, and if Epstein is still hidden and alive somewhere, will be the only two people that can give us 100% maximum accounts. Hold on. Not maximum accounts. Maxwell accounts. God damn, son. Sorry, y'all. Don't smoke and don't drink too much coffee. It's a killer. Or grape soda. Fucking wears on your throat after a while. Some may not like what they hear, but the truth matters. For example, both President Trump and President Clinton are innocent of any wrongdoing. Miss Maxwell alone can explain why, and the public is entitled to that explanation. There are dozens of photos of both Trump and Clinton with Epstein and with little girls, both of them getting massages from 14-year-olds on planes. Or cakes with skin on them or something like that. How are they both innocent? I would love to. I would pay money. I would pay so much money just to. I would pay $1,000. I would pay $5,000. I'd pay $10,000 just to sit down and watch this woman somehow prattle off an account of how these two men are innocent. I would pay so much money to watch that happen because I have to see how many mental gymnastics she does to lob off these two presidents. Two of the presidents who knew this man. How is she? But she didn't say that she was going to leave out Hillary. You know what? Hillary is going to she's going down swinging and she's trying to drag Trump with her. She is trying to. Y'all ever play God of War? There is a scene in God of War 2 after Zeus stabs Kratos and he's dead or dying. And the ground opens up and the hands of Hades just fucking start pulling him down. That is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is the hands of Hades. She is the hands of Hades that is trying to drag down Donnie T. And even her husband along the way. She's trying to drag herself, her husband. There is no way for her to admit about anything that Trump has done or any of these people have done without fucking implicating herself in so many fucking ways or in so many different things. There's no possible way. There's just no way. And I think it's so much funny that Bill Clinton's just like, I will not sit idly by as they use me as a prop. It's just, this man wants it all to come out. You were getting your dick sucked by chubby women in the fucking Oval Office and raping kids in the early 2000s. Is this stuff you want to admit to after you had drugs flown into your... I refuse to believe that any of these people are innocent. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. I have called for a full release of the Epstein files. I have provided a sworn statement of what I know, and just this week I've agreed to appear in person before the committee. But it's still not enough for Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. Bill Clinton wrote on X, Jesus Christ, this isn't even him like giving a public like address. This is just X. Everyone just uses X now for public addresses. No one goes and stands before somebody and speaks because they're all elderly or they're fucking retarded and inept and young and retarded. I will not sit idly as they use me as a prop in a closed-door kangaroo court by a Republican Party running scared. Yes, Trump probably is scared, I won't lie. After everything is being released, y'all should see how quickly the DOJ and Google and all of these different things are revoked, like pulling these files. They're trying so fucking hard to pull this shit. It is hilarious to actually witness. It's not hilarious because they're just making it harder for anyone to believe anything, which was the entire game they were running to begin with. But it is funny. It is funny to me. It's funny to me. It's funny I like the chaos. Y'all may not like the chaos. I like the chaos. I think that is what I've been realizing is that's what I enjoy. I enjoy witnessing this thriving madness that we call America. And I want to see us come out the other side, not as crazy and chaotic, hopefully doing well, getting somewhere, less child rapes, less molestations, maybe more drugs depending on what drugs we're talking about, maybe less drugs depending on what drugs we're talking about. But it's just, I think the chaos is the funniest part because there's no part of this that's being given straight to anybody at any level, and you can't not laugh at it. That's the whole point of this, is you guys, how can you read these things and not just chuckle a little bit inside? If they want answers, let's stop the games and do this the right way, in a public hearing, where the American people can see for themselves what this really is about. No, what they want to do is make this a public execution. What they want is to make this a public beheading where Trump is going to stand in front of everybody and somehow just get berated by people until the very end of time. And that is not going to happen. That's like, that man is not going to ever put himself in a fucking position where he is so compromised that he's just going to allow himself to be berated by other people he saw raping the same girls he did. Do you have any clue how crazy that is? That's like black calling black black. Do you know what I mean? That's like white calling white white. That's like red calling red red. That's like blue calling blue Jewish. At some point, y'all just gotta, they're walking in there with a grenade in their teeth, ready to kiss Donnie on the mouth. That is a beautiful sentiment. Hillary Clinton and Bill and Ghislaine are all willing to walk in to the courtrooms and fucking with that grenade in their mouth and kiss Donnie on the mouth. So that way they all give a kiss goodbye, baby. That is what they're hoping for. They're going to take down everybody. They're going to take down our boy Billy Gates, one of my best friends, one of my heroes, one of my idols, one of my people on a pedestal. You get what I mean? Like, he just a great guy. All he did was give his wife an STD. Oh, and in case you didn't know, he was helping plan fucking pandemics. He did pandemic simulations 3 years prior to COVID coming out and everything being released. And guess what? He was funding a lot of these different researches. Also, my expertise is public health security, pandemics, just did pandemic simulation and threats to US. This could be big platform. And here are your birthday chocolates. Sorry. How is that the fucking thing? How do you go from we can benefit and profit from American pandemic situations to did you forgot your chocolate? You forgot your chocolate? You forgot your chocolate? By the way, we're going to eradicate at least 60% of the population over the next 40 years, but what does that matter? Do you want your chocolates? It's like fucking The Office. Where are the turtles? Where are the children? Where are the turtles? Epstein going back to his house. Where is the pizza? Fucking Chrissy Teigen. Where is the pizza? Everyone else. I want my grape soda. You can't learn to drive by watching a video. What is this chat? Let me know when it is good for you to speak. Lucretia. I won't have access till Skype till tomorrow. This is all stuff this is all on the DOJ website, by the way. That's what I'm reading on, is exactly on the fucking DOJ. There are, before this goes away and because I just looked earlier and there were like 5 to 7 articles, and now I'm looking again and I'm only putting up 4. Dataset 11, Dataset 9. The DOJ website, the fucking Department of Justice website. And now we're going to look at this one because this is interesting. This is being sent from redacted to redacted on Friday, March 3rd, 2017. Forward, BGC3 deliverables and scope. BGC3 is a fucking company by guess who? Bill Gates. Crazy how that shit works. So from blank to Bill Gates, CC Larry Cohen. Subject BC3 deliverables and scope. Bill, Larry and I have been Bill, Larry and I have been equal working on deliverables for my time at BGC3 since you and I spoke. At lar equals request, I have spoken with Roger, Mark, Chris, Trevor, Joff equals E2 two question marks, and then next week Bose and Jonah. Everyone has offered guidance, advice, thoughts, and ideas. As Larry works to put together any required documents, we are trying to make sure we make this at the same time valuable. 2 areas we're interested in terms of scope: domestic health and neurotech. Interesting that they're talking about neurotech with Bill Gates and Epstein. And after Elon with the fucking Neuralink. What do I know? Where was I? Neurotech. To improve access and secure personal health data, blueprint and/or recommendations for zero-knowledge, proof-based digital system to secure private personal health information while allowing access to digitally redacted personal information. Interesting. So they're trying to figure out ways to get more of people's health information. My family, I love them. God bless their hearts. They're retarded, and they wear these stupid fucking, like, heart pulse, whatever it is, rings that monitor your fucking heartbeat and all that stuff. It's a nice idea in practice. If you need it for medical reasons, it's a good idea. But I think after reading all of this, it's kind of retarded because of the fact that now they're just using it to monitor you more so they can market to you all of these awful fucking things in the world. What do I know? What does my family know? Come on now. White paper on consumer health expenditures in the USA. White paper and/or recommendations on neurotechnologies relate to chronic degenerative disease. White paper on neurotechnologies as weapons in national intelligence and defense. White paper or follow-up recommendations and/or technical specifications for strain pandemic simulation. Follow-up recommendations and/or technical specifications for strain pandemic situation. Happy to do whatever is helpful or adapt along the way. Thanks for the opportunity. Hope the weekend is going off to a good start. That's fucking astounding to me. They not only were experimenting on creating the perfect genetically made children, they were not only experimenting on people with viruses, they were not only experimenting on just like how to eat humans and all of these other things. They were literally doing I hate quoting this, but somebody called it the plandemic because they knew that it was planned from the fucking start, like from the get-go, even years in advance. And this is just kind of proof of that. This isn't even me. This is not me being speculative. This is not me being some kind of conspiracy theorist. I'm reading to you what the Department of Justice posted. And I think that I'm learning one thing. More so is just how much I love these people, how much I love Billy Boy Gates and all of them, how much I've learned to love appreciating them and their marketing tools and how they monitor us regularly. I think I love it. I think I love you. So what am I so afraid of? I'm afraid that I'm not sure of. That's from Scream 2, if y'all don't know. I don't know the actual song, but that's what popped into my head. I think I love you. I don't know. Speaking of movies, though, that I've seen recently, Casablanca, just saw that the other day for the first time. One of the greatest fucking romance movies ever. It's about this guy who went around raping Nazis, and what he would do is he would take like the butt of his rifle and he would bend Nazis over after shooting a few of them, and he'd steam it into their asshole. And then after this, of course, he'd send them on their merry, well, not so merry way. They just got their asshole burnt out, and then they'd go back crying. Something like Inglourious Bastards. But he winds up in this place, and I think just under Spain, called Casablanca. And he runs into this woman that he met in France who let him do weird things to her, and she did weird things with her tongue to him. And it turns out that she was married the whole time, but she didn't even know she was married the whole time. And what I mean by that is she thought her husband had died in the war. This movie takes place during World... I'll give y'all the actual fucking skinny of it, but I gotta get through this. And then what winds up happening is they have a crazy extramarital affair. He like busts inside her, on her, all over her, everywhere. The splooge even hit the camera. And then at the end of the film, he sends this woman away with her husband that she didn't know she had to America so they can go and start a brand new life and help people. And at the end of the film, after he sets his lovely off to America, he shoots a Nazi officer that once tried to sodomize him in jail, and he and his buddy, who is this Italian guy, just go on an adventure around the world. Basically becomes the trip to El Dorado. Not actually. It was a great film, by the way. It is a World War II movie. It takes place... the movie is released in, 1942. It takes place dead center of World War II and occupied... in neutral territories in Casablanca. The main character, his name is Humphrey, and he's the owner of a nightclub. And all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but Nazi officers are there interrogating people, trying to send them to concentration camps. The Italians are there. Some of them are with the Nazis. Some of them are against the Nazis, and they're just trying to live their daily lives. But the country is neutral. The state that they're in is neutral, so long as everyone remains neutral. That's why he abstains from violence in the bar and stuff like that, because he knows that the second he gets dragged in, they're going to drag him. Like, it's a whole ordeal. And then one day, after this guy had stolen papers, blank travel papers from Nazi agents, so that way they could forge their name on it and actually be able to flee the country legally without having to be stolen away and sent back to an internment camp, a fucking concentration camp. And the guy gets caught by the Gestapo of course, and killed by them. They say that he tried fleeing and they shot him. They probably just killed him anyways, but he may have tried fleeing. If you watch the movie, he may probably tried fleeing. And this guy's old romance, the lady he met in Paris, shows up, and she's there with her apparently husband. When I said that she didn't know she was married, I meant that she genuinely thought he died in the war. Because he had faked his death so that way he could go without being detected and find his way to neutral territory. Because he had escaped a concentration camp. And if you know anything about Nazis, they don't like when you escape their concentration camps. They don't like when you escape anything. They just don't like you. And so he meets them. He gets jealous because he loves the woman still, and she loves him. They have a deep conversation one night about how she still loves him, but she has to deal with the fact that her husband is fleeing and all this other stuff. And she wants to stay. And at the end of the film, it is beautiful. He sends the woman he loves off with her husband because he knows that she needs to have a better person, a stable life. He's got his own troubles that he's still dealing with and all that stuff. And then he hits her with one of the greatest lines in all of cinematic history. We'll always have Paris. We didn't have Paris before, but we got it back last night. That is a great fucking film. It is true. I mean this with all sincerity. It is one of the greatest love stories I've ever seen. It's one of the greatest war movies. It is a beautiful fucking film. Black and white, for any of you who plan on watching it, it kind of just touches all avenues that a romance film could want. And it ends so perfectly. And especially in the middle of the war where you're like, wow, what the fuck is going to even happen to these people? You have no clue 100% what's going to happen to anyone. You just know that they're riding on the fumes of love in that ship to America. They are riding on the fumes of love in that fucking ship to America. And I think that's a beautiful closing point because I think that's truly what all of I've been trying to say is it's about love, people. It's about love. Sometimes you love people because, no matter what, because of their color. Sometimes you love people because you just got so much love to give. Sometimes you love people because you're in this weird throuple and you just find ways to love. So it's like the double heart. See, double heart, throuple. It matches. It's the idea of love. Even the cuck guy is happy. Chucky Cucky is happy. Chucky the cuck is happy. These people were happy. I mean, they were only it was like bittersweet. It's kind of like a bittersweet victory. It's bittersweet, but it's all about love at the end of the day. Some people love catching speeders and not catching child predators. Some people like abusing children and letting them die. Some people have relationships that are so thorough and so wonderful that they all have three incomes together and are willing to share that with one another so that way they can enjoy their lives. Some people love each other so much that even though their partner's arrested, they're going to start another bio lab in a goddamn another state just because they want to see them happy. Some people are so in love with their partner or are just so in love with what they are in love with, whether it's coffee or birds and bees and donuts or like strip clubs here in Brevard. People are in love, and that's what matters. Love is in the air. Epstein is in the air. It's in abundance. Everything you could ask for is at your fingertips nowadays. So you know what? Just like this rocket says, you are out of this world, Valentine. You are out of this world, Valentine. You are out of this world, Valentine. From me, here in the Space Coast, and this rocket that's shaped like a penis, and Elon, and Jeffy, and fucking Billy Boy, and all of the weird strip clubs and everything over here in Brevard, we say to you, happy fucking Valentine's Day. And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.